You're listening to a main feed episode. Go to patreon.com/Celtic Ligers where €5 a month gets you weekly full-length episodes, stray bonus content and access to the back catalogue. Also helps cover hosting and gives us money for sweeties. Thank you. Celtic Ligers.
Recorded 16th of November 2024.
Oh yeah, we got some messages from Kieran from Corner Spatty. We play them.
Hello, Celtic Ligers. First time, long time. This is Kieran. Leaving you a voice note because fuck it. I'm going to commit this to some sort of recording, and I think I'm willing to be incredibly wrong about this, and very happy to be incredibly wrong. Well, not happy, but you know, I'm not gung ho about this, but purely vibes-based assessment, I kind of think Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael are going to flub it. I kind of think they're going to fuck up. I kind of think that the press that kind of runs back for them is very self-assured that this is all going to work out, and I think they're going to be hit with the kind of like anti-incumbent backlash that has hit like every other developed economy in the world at the moment, where the current parties have to be punished for not protecting the people from inflation enough. I don't know, it kind of seems like I understand the whole, we're going to call an election that's like so fucking soon, and that's going to like hopefully stop what happened in 2020, where everyone's like, oh, the longer we see you, the more we realize you're kind of shit. It also fucks over, young people voting for the first time because they had to scramble to get registered, and that's a constituency that probably doesn't like Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael. It also fucks over, I don't know how big of a constituency it is, but it fucks over people like me who like recently came back to the country. I just narrowly registered, I think. But I think that's a sizable part of the country. I know it's like the largest, like the reason Ireland has so many foreign-born children is because they're all like Irish children to Irish parents who were born abroad and then moved back. So I guess it's a sizable number of people. Anyway, I'm rambling. Yeah, I just kind of get the vibe, purely the vibe, that it's really not going to go as well for them as they think it will. Not to say that something good is going to happen. I think it's probably just going to be a bunch of like weird independence, maybe a decent showing for the Soc Dems. Kind of, I'm putting a $5 on it. I will donate a $5 to the show. I think Make Crime Illegal Nick Dillahunty is going to get...
No way.
He's going to get in Dublin South Bay. I think it's his time. $5 to the show if he doesn't. All right. Kisses. Also, yeah, I just want to say, you can edit this in or whatever. Micheál Martin's poster being everywhere for Fianna Fáil, I think is a bad move. The man looks like a haunted doll who desperately wants to be played with. He's just so like pleading and sad, and it's like he's not even running here, and they think that his face is going to like bring in the numbers. I don't buy it.
By the way, that's exactly what I'm like when any voice note comes in and I'm listening to it by myself. I will literally say yeah out loud in like the sitting room or wherever I am. Yeah.
Here's my prediction.
Okay.
Off the back of that prediction. I could imagine Fine Gael flubbing it.
Yeah.
I think Fianna Fáil are going to do well.
Yeah.
And the reason I think that is because I don't know why, but I think people, maybe it's even true to say, people think that Fine Gael are running this government.
It is true. Yeah.
So I think there's a sense of like, is there like confidence and supply arrangement again or something? But I do think a lot of independents are going to get in.
Yeah.
So I can imagine a Fianna Fáil government with a lot of independents.
Interesting. That is interesting.
Maybe, probably not just that, maybe another small party or something. I don't think it's going to be a particularly stable government. But I think that sort of anti-incumbent, anti-institution swing, if it happens, it'll be against Fine Gael and not Fianna Fáil,
Yeah. No, I think you're right. And I the weird thing is, like, tell me if I'm crazy about this. You remember there's like a feeling during the 90s, which I wasn't really politically aware of. I'm just talking about vibes. But that there's good times, there's people going out having pints and just enjoying themselves, I think that, like, Fianna Fáil feel like that somewhat, again, enough. Do you know what I mean? Like, people will be like, feel that feeling off of them enough to be like, look, we've done austerity. That was Fine Gael, and that's teacher coming in and telling you, here's your pocket money, and here's and you can't do that. And it's a battle between both of those. Now, Micheál Martin's face everywhere might counteract that, but like most of the Fianna Fáil candidates I've seen are just kind of lugheads who feel like, they're going out there and like, no, let's have a good time again, So like, and then yeah.
I don't think austerity's long gone for a lot of people, but I think there's a sense of like, when you're hearing about 13 billion and a 20 billion budget surplus, it's like, I'd say Fianna Fáil would give us some of that, whereas Fine Gael aren't,
No. They're like so sensible, and the anti-incumbency thing for sure, and then the independents making out like bandits. That'll probably come to pass as well. I also
I think Labour are going to do well.
Do you think?
Yeah. I also thought that Mike Tyson could win against man, but I do. I think people like Venomatics. Okay, and I think people have forgotten like, how long was it since they went in with Fine Gael? It's a long time ago.
10 years, maybe. Yeah.
Was it 12? It's 2011.
Yeah.
So that's 13 years. I don't know.
I do think the Soc Dems might. Well, the Soc Dems, every single time I'm like, oh yeah, the Soc Dems are going to do well because people just kind of like, and then they never do particularly well. I think they always,
I think it's like, as well.
Yeah.
I think Soc Dems and Labour sort of split the same group. Like, they're going after the same group. I think Soc Dems sort of skew a bit younger, but I don't know. I think there's that thing of people trust Labour for some reason.
I think it's also like
older.
parties that have been around longer also sort of like Soc Dems are relatively recent. Well, they're incredibly recent in terms of politics, but like political parties, I should say. Same with PVP. There's just this feeling of like, yeah, no, I don't disagree, but you're not politicians. You don't feel real to me. You're not like those other people who were in government,
And like, say, when the PDs got in, they were in government, weren't they?
Yeah, they were.
They were all just Fianna Fáil. They were like
they were all people, Des O'Malley and fucking Mary Harney and people,
whereas Soc Dems, they don't have that any sort of long history. What?
No, the Soc Dems were created by Roisin Shorthall and what's her name, Murphy, Catherine Murphy, and but I think that they might have actually been in Labour one of the times that Labour was in government.
Right.
So I don't know. I don't know what to say. I think, like, I kind of feel foolish speculating because you're going to be like, oh, what about this? And what about this? And what does this do? And then you see the results and it's like, I don't know why I bother.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because they always go back Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael. That's why I'm betting on like, just the idea of like the, Michael O'Leary thing, the teachers versus the fucking, the lad down the pub who's like buying everybody around. I do think that's what it feels like with Fianna Fáil. Is like you get fed up with people being stuffy and stuck up, and that's when you go back to Fianna Fáil, and then you get
So I think that could happen.
Yeah.
Be interested to see who go in with Fianna Fáil.
Yeah, I know.
And then Fianna Fáil aren't running a lot of people. Look, I think they're not running enough people to form a government.
I don't think any of them are.
Yeah. And then Fine Gael will probably be quite willing to go into Fianna Fáil as well. Because I don't think Harris would want to go straight back into opposition.
Yeah.
And probably a lot of the new TDs, if they get elected, they wouldn't want to either. I know, it'd be interesting to see. Anyway, my point is, I don't think they're both going to fuck it.
Yeah.
But I think one of them will.
Yeah, but it'll probably just be like what we have now, except with a different coalition partner.
Yeah.
Than the Greens. And it's just that they're not into big swings and surprises. These people, these leaders of the party, it could be the Fianna Fáil, like if they were a bit more savvy, we're like, let's go in with Sinn Féin, and whatever, fuck, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I'm gonna shut the fuck up now.
Send voice notes or correspondence over the Celtic Ligers Instagram, which is @CelticLigers. Also over X, the Everything app, or Blue Sky, or email us at celticligers@gmail.com.
Like the algorithm on YouTube has been like, hey, you like politics? Well, listen to this old man talk about politics. And then it's like this farmer who turns out to be from, his name is Val Martin.
Yeah. So long-term listeners of the podcast will know him, because he's the guy who came up with the Richard Boyle carrot, isn't he?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
He came up with a sick nickname for the man we all love to hate and hate to love.
In the infamous
Richard
episode
Boyle.
where I had my wisdom teeth removed and was like high off my tits editing some episode that we'd done. I also included a weird like compilation of Val talking about how from his perch in Cavan, we've now discovered that's where he's based.
Yeah.
What he believes is happening in Dublin.
From episode number 9. Lefty Looney, available in its entirety on www.patreon.com/CelticLigers.
Now, what's happened since the riots in Dublin, and it's all terrible with these lefties, including the Minister for Justice, Helen McEntee, who's a lefty, and including the Garda Commissioner, Drew Harris, who's another woke lefty. It's this horror of this riot, which nobody was badly injured, thank God. There was a bit of property, but no injured damage, but nobody was badly injured. It has brought this into perspective and has put the focus on it. Now, what's happening in anyone that's around Dublin this last few years, number one, it's loaded down with druggies shooting up in the doorways, shooting heroin up into their arms right in front of your face. The other thing is, it's full of Asian gangs and Romas. Now, the next thing is, they're on about RTO. There was threats against Asian gangs hanging around the cafes. The whole North City cafes are all infiltrated with these fellas. And you're going to have a cup of coffee and carry on.
And anyway, I've been watching a few more clips from him, and then an image came up of all of the candidates that are running in the far right. So this is for the Irish Freedom Party, National Party, Independents. I think they've thrown Aintu on there. I mean, they're the far right, but I mean, like they don't. I don't know whether they, What do you think of that? Like, I don't want to be saying Aintu aren't far right. It's just that, like, when you see them next to the National Party, you're suddenly like, are they the National Party level of like far right?
Yeah, they're definitely not. Like, into, yeah, they're very close to being a normal, like a centre, an Irish,
Yeah.
what Ireland considers a centre. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
exactly.
Like they're not going around wearing like the same shoes as Himmler wore to visit.
They're not like
Burka or
Clan
whatever,
Aaron or
you know?
like, yeah. Like it's
Yeah.
you know.
They're just sort of people who like, the way we talk about a lot of these far right people. They're like, I wish Ireland was like it was in the 90s.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like they don't have a full appreciation of what that means.
Yeah.
Whereas I think A2 are extremely accurate in what they think the 80s was like.
Yeah.
And they're just like, that sounds good to me,
Mhm.
Like
Yeah,
they
like,
would like the laundries to reopen,
yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. I think like, yeah, there's a certain sort of
They're
I don't know, like
wide-eyed going into the past.
exactly. There's an ideological purity, whereas a lot of these people are just like very confused and just seem to be drawn to fascism,
Yeah.
and they don't really understand why. And case in point would obviously be Val himself. But here they have, Charlotte O'Sullivan at Irish Rebel 1965 on Twitter put up all of the far right candidates that are running, and Val is there running for the Irish Freedom Party at Cavan-Monaghan. And I didn't take a picture, but there's a picture, there's a YouTube video that he put up, and the thumbnail is like him holding up a sheet of paper with his bank details written on them, being like, just to give me funds for my election campaign, the videos are incredibly funny because like anyway, he did a campaign video, and it's like, so here's a way to get to know a little bit more about me. And it's an 11-minute video where he just films in and around his house, just showing his life and how he lives. And the thing that made it so prescient and terrifying was that James and I were talking about, like, I don't know whether it was last week's episode or the week before, but like areas in Ireland that just made us depressed to think about how people lived. And then I had this assumption about Val. I was like, I think Val has like a horrifying interior life. And then Val's like, here's my interior life. And I was like, oh my God. It's like, he goes around, he's like, oh, here's our front garden. And many kids, any walk of life. Many walk of life, long summers had there playing football and eating ice cream, and it's great. And then he turns around and he goes back inside his house, like, and here's where I installed the toilet and at an angle, because the door wouldn't close. Sometimes you have to do this sort of stuff. And
what do you mean at an angle?
Yeah, I can show you what you mean. What like he just, do you know where like it's so. I spent at least an hour watching clips of him talking about what's on his mind, what's in his near vicinity, what he thinks Marxism is, and then giving out about all the problems in the world, and his kind of attempt at. But he gets like more views on his videos than any listens we've ever received on. He gets more views on his videos than any listens we've received on this podcast, which is insane to me.
Maybe we need to show some more of our grim lives.
I think we need to be on YouTube. I think that's the thing. And like, I mean, I hate YouTube, but like, also he had like, he's like, and here's the GoFundMe link for my GoFundMe. And then he didn't put the link in for his GoFundMe. And then I tried to search for it and I couldn't find it. And I did find on Facebook his thing for the Irish Freedom Party, where I'll watch a little bit of his video as well. But Irish Freedom Party, Val Martin is well known locally and has voiced his opposition to the installation of wind turbines, and most recently has been a strong advocate against the erection of pylons across Cavan-Monaghan and Meath to accommodate the north-south interconnector. He also believes Irish families should be placed on social housing lists first, and is especially opposed to carbon tax, which he describes as extortionate, unnecessary and unjust. On immigration, Mr. Martin believes there is no such thing as a climate migrant. He says that if there was such a thing, the Irish would have left this island because of the rainy, damp climate we have all become accustomed to. He is also adamant that people who travel to Ireland without the necessary documentation or tear up their passports before they arrive here should not be allowed into the country.
Okay.
The EU persuaded the Irish government to take migrants as dictated by EU law, but what is happening now is that a migrant arrives in Italy, for example, and the EU decides that person should go to Ireland. As a result, our government does not know who is coming in here, who they are, or what their background is. If this continues in 8 or 9 years' time, we, the Irish, will be the minority in our own country. I want to stop those people from coming in here, and especially those people who arrive here with no documentation. Blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, this one was interesting.
Cavan?
I've never been to Cavan. Have you been to Cavan?
No.
I'd never want to go.
Yeah.
On housing,
Val
Mr. Martin
City.
doesn't blame migrants for the lack of housing, but rather, this is what I found very
Sounds like-
funny. Yeah. Huh?
Sounds like he does, but anyway.
He goes, but rather points the finger at poor housing policy and decision making on the part of successive governments over the last 15 or so years. Years ago, county councils provided houses, and it's not right that we moved away from that model. I just find it really funny when they go like, we need the government to intervene and start providing and building houses. Okay, and then you go, but this insidious Marxism that never worked, communism that is just wrong, you know? Like there's just like this thing about like socialism is evil, but then also we need state intervention to build houses and to help.
Yeah.
I don't know. And in his video, he talks. Yeah, I don't know.
What?
I don't know whether this
What
is
does
of
he look
fucking
like?
interest to
How
anybody.
fat and ugly is he?
Yeah, here we go. We'll watch the
Weather
video.
beaten, is he?
They took a very good photo of him here. Although one of the videos I was watching, one of the most disgusting thing happened where like he's filming in his incredibly low lit kitchen, and he's talking about how in Meath, where Helen McEntee is running, which is not his constituency, he said that the Irish Freedom Party is not running a candidate there, so to vote for the Nationalists Party candidate, for which he used to be a member, okay? And then he's like, and here's her now, here's what she looks like, and doesn't she look good? And he puts up he picks up his laptop and presents it to the camera on his phone, okay? And look at her, she's very nice now, and sure, vote for her. Unless there's an Irish Freedom Party, if somebody goes in, then vote for them, give them your number one, and then give your number two to her. And doesn't she look lovely there? And then as he's saying it, okay, he like burps, okay? And then he does his little burp, and at times timed perfectly with the burp, okay? Like a fly flies right in front of the lens of the camera. Just go, and then he goes, and then that's me now. Anyway, and sure, and if you're in Cavan, like vote number one for me. Like he is literally like the way that he talks is the way like a Tim Heidecker character talks, where it's like, and there was one where he apparently he was like, it's hard to tell what was happening here, but he was out hanging up posters, okay, and so he turns on his phone camera in his car, and he starts eating a sandwich. So there are crumbs and bits of like, and he's talking about like a Sinn Féin. Somebody who's competing with Sinn Féin, I don't know what's going on, and then he starts giving out about them, and he starts talking about how they're wanting to send the children into the schools to make them trans and gay and all this type of stuff. And then while he's saying this, his phone starts ringing, okay, and he keeps trying to like turn it off while he's talking, okay. And then eventually he manages to hang up the phone. He manages to, I don't know what he does, but he has like started recording again, but the light of the phone has gone off, so he's like, you can barely see him in his car now. And he was like, that was somebody calling me there, and they, so, and
Just re-record the video. Like, just do it again.
And then you're like looking down at
either.
And I'm like, what are the comments saying on something like this? Like, are they actually like, can we get a look at that? And then all the comments are like, fair play, Val, you got my number one. It's got like 3,000 views, and you're just like, fucking hell, man, what is going on? Like,
he sounds like. Do you ever meet that sort of guy? And they have the fleece. They're wearing a fleece, and there's like crumbs worked in to the fleece.
Yeah,
you can tell they've been like brushing at it. But somehow they've just like driven the crumbs into the fleece.
Yeah.
You know?
No, that's him. That's him all over. But like I don't know which to show first, because we have to show I want to show you just like one or two of these.
The burping one.
No, I can't do it again because it's too long. It's so long and it's so fucking boring.
Just go to the burp. Just go to the burp.
Alright, fine. I'll just show you that. It's not.
That's the most disgusting thing on Instagram Reels.
Yeah.
It really turned my stomach. There's this guy who's obsessed with piss.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
And he kept making these things called piss bombs. And then, it's just like in a balloon or something. He has like jugs of it in his house. And then with this one, he was like, I'm going to show you to make piss eggs. And he's like sitting on the ground, and then he pulls up a hot plate. And I'm like, no, he can't be doing this. And then he like got a saucepan.
Yeah.
And he's like, pour in your piss. And then he's like cracks 2 eggs into it. And then he's like whipping it. And it's like boiling away. And then he's like cuts back and it's like black. And he's like, there you go. And I was like, that is so disgusting. Like, it's such a new level of depravity. You know what I mean?
Everybody keeps surprising me with how depraved they can get, you know?
They really do,
I was just thinking about how, everything is shit, okay? And there was always this feeling no, you got to keep fighting, obviously, okay? I'm not saying everybody give up, all right? But, there's no alternative. You just got to keep doing it. But ultimately, I was like, nah, we can win this. Whereas now I'm like, actually, I don't think we can. I think that whatever happened long ago, and we've lost, but we have to keep valiantly fighting on, and it's going to be hundreds of years, if the planet is even still around, before we can try and pick up the pieces again. But something is fundamentally broken in all people on a massive level, and and then people like the piss guy and Val, you're just looking at them going there's armies of you out there, do you know?
I know, yeah. If you're watching Game of Thrones, the way there were loads of characters in that were supposed to signal some sort of depravity. The guy who lived outside of the wall and he was having kids with his daughters and stuff.
Yeah.
If you're watching Game of Thrones, and they go outside of the wall, and this fella whipping piss and eggs, you just be like, this is too insane.
I know.
That could never happen. So get Val up there.
Get Val. Yeah, what was it? I don't know. I've lost it. I've lost my train of thought. No. This is going to be such a weird episode, I think.
Yeah, we're both. Okay. Jesus. The one with his mouth open is. He looks dead.
There's an amazing one where he so I didn't watch it, but apparently when Trump won, he sang the national anthem of America and he lit a candle. And then in the next video, he was saying, lots of people were giving out to me about lighting the candle and singing the anthem. But I am religious though, and I do think. So this isn't the one where he burps, but and also I've oversold the burp because it was kind of it was one of those horrible old man mouth gurgly things,
Yeah.
So you'll hear it, and it won't be a full-on burp or a belch, but it's not pleasant for sure. But this one I just wanted to watch because it's very short in comparison to the rest of his videos, for the 20-minute video about wokes. Also, there's a video that he has where he has a sign hung up behind him that's saying "Black cows matter." Very strange.
I love
man.
how there's another one I saw in the thumbnail, and it's something that says RTE,
Yeah.
and it says real truth, and then his head
Yeah.
is blocking the E. Do you know what it says?
Yeah, no, I haven't figured that out. I've seen that video. I've seen that sign multiple times, and I've never seen the end of it because his head is constantly blocking it out. And he says sometimes he'll do things. He'll say things like, and he goes, "And Matt Carthy came on, and he said that like people, that the vulture funds should be buying up homes, and that's a great thing, and that's just the way people do be making a living." And I just think that's wrong. And I was like, well, if Matt Carthy didn't say that, there's just no way on earth that he said that. But like, he doesn't provide a clip or anything. You just kind of like, you're like, what did he hear that he thinks that that's what Matt Carthy said? Do you know?
I love that such an old man, like, misunderstood something, and then he's talking about it for the next, like, 6 months. You know what I mean? And then no matter how many times you explain to him, it's like, you can imagine him down the pub. And Matt Carthy said that the vulture fund should be buying, and then someone explains what Matt Carthy actually said, and he's like, but still, he shouldn't be saying that they should be buying up the vulture fund.
That's it.
It's like, please stop saying that.
Now he's got like the added thing because he's also like online, so that means that he's like angry as well, and he's like, he's kind of got this. So like when I was watching him first, I was like, this is just some mad farmer in the middle of nowhere, like spouting off, and everything he says makes absolutely no sense. And then when Val starts to introduce himself as a candidate, he reveals that actually he is a farmer. So I was actually right there, even though he never said he was a farmer. I just guessed. But he's a former guard. And
incredible.
And like, he, I don't know what that, I don't know. He's such an, like, okay. Yeah. Anyway, the point is that imagine that opinionated kind of thing. Whereas, so you're saying like, you'd go like, well, Matt Carthy didn't say that. No. You can pull up the clip. You can see it yourself. Matt Carthy says that. He says that. And then you're like watching the clip and you go, see, he didn't say that. Did you not watch the same thing? You know what I mean? There's no way that you couldn't.
Sometimes what they do is, like I told you about the guy who I was working in the museum.
Yeah.
And there's a guy who worked there, and he hated how Dublin was changing, as he'd say.
Yeah.
And he went to see a Sean O'Casey play, and there were 2 black actors in it.
Yeah.
And like he came in, and he was like grey after he saw that, and he was like, "How was the play?" He's like, there were 2 black actors, and there just were no black people. Like, you can't be doing that sort of thing. No black dubs." And I was like, "Oh, well, nowadays there are black dubs. Like, you go out and they're from Dublin." Just silence. You know what I mean? Just like waiting for me to stop. And then he's like, there were no black dubs. Like, you just can't be doing that, you know? And then he took, like, literally every day he was talking about that.
Sorry. This bit is missing.
And now I'm really telling tales of it, but like there was this, I might have to edit some of this out because this is like not for, did I tell you though the time where this guy, like, so I'm talking to this guy and I really like him actually. He was somebody I met through the group, sort of. Actually, I met him at something else, but he's very nice. And then he was like sending off an example of his work to somebody who's like, somebody who's like making money off of it, allegedly. And so he just goes like, can I send you my stuff? And the guy's like, yeah, sure. You just got to sign this thing first before you send on anything. And so then the guy like reads the contract, and then the contract that your man was trying to get him to sign was like, by sending me this file, you immediately sign over all rights of the project to me.
Really?
And he goes, I don't know if I'm comfortable signing that. And then this guy, like, imagine the fucking steeple in his fingers going, you've passed the test. I was testing you. So many people will just sign something without knowing anything about it. You have to have your eyes open every second. And it was like, you're an idiot. You're not making, you know what I mean? It was just so like I just hated.
Something Johnson would do out of Peep Show.
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly that type of shit. Like, everybody is out to get you. It's predatory. It's business. It's like, that's just business, baby. And you're just like, shut the fuck up. You're so tedious. You're never going to make anything that anybody's going to watch or love or enjoy. And like, it's just... I just was like, I hate that. Anyway, the whole thing about that was when I saw that animation meetup thing, I thought, finally, I'm going to meet like a bunch of people who like making cartoons down here. And instead, what you do is you meet a bunch of people who are like, yeah, exactly. What I said before, how can I crack this? How can I break it? How can I make the money off of this? And you're just like, it's just so grim. And like, it's kind of a mindset that has different versions throughout Ireland. Like, it's comparable to the one that we were talking about from that Ross Cray article, where they're going like, what about the traveling salesman who can't stay in the town? We're losing out on all this money, And then you have like the people who would vote for like Pascal Donoghue who are going like, we can't have the FDI leave because of all the money they bring, all the tech companies bringing all the money in. And it's just like every fucking thing oriented around money. Like, and it's like, I know it's such a kind of naff thing to say, but it's just like, you know what I mean? Like, true, where's the love, man? Jesus.
Yeah.
And what it produces is so fucking ugly. It produces characters like Val. Like, I'm about to show you some of the stuff here where it's like, he's like, at one point, Val in one of his videos, he's like, oh, I'm a farmer and I own a bunch of buildings. He never specifies what buildings, so I can only presume that they're houses. Yeah. So he's a landlord, okay? And so he's like, that's where I get my money from. I get them from my buildings and my farm. And you're just like, and he's like, and here's my house. And it's like, that looks like shit, man. Like, yeah. And it's so ugly. It's so like, so here's we don't get to see Val in this video yet, but we do get to see the things that he thinks are beautiful. Okay. He says it himself in this. Wow. Okay.
This is the RD Road in Cavan-Monaghan. And I just selected because I'm here getting a cuppa. But look at those houses. I'd rather live in one of those than in Buckingham Palace. These are. I'm
just going to pause it really quickly. Yeah. Can you describe what this house looks like, James, for our listeners?
It's like that classic ugly Irish country house. There used to be that Facebook page. It's like it's like when you get just the local architect to do something. Yeah. Have I told you about that? There's an art centre in Ballybunion. Yeah. It's just that. It's just like, can you make a fancy house? And he's like, okay, I could put like 4 window
boxes. I don't know what you call them.
4 window boxes on the left-hand side of the roof.
And then, and then they have ridges off of them that look like doilies. Okay, because that's what fancy people have.
And then everything's off center as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you look to the right, there is another window box in behind that tree.
Yeah,
there's a really long driveway, and then on the piers there's like, what are they? Statues of geese?
They're like falcons or something.
It looks like a nursing home.
It's just the most disgusting eyesore you could possibly imagine. And you got that like, the one where like, and it's fucking, but it's like that gray blue. And then on top of that, like the walls are like painted outside, like they're covered. I don't know what to say. I'm no architect. I don't know this stuff. All I know is like,
fucking ugly anyway.
It's ugly as shit.
Stone.
But like the thing that makes me laugh about it is that Val's like, here is a road with some really nice houses on it, and wouldn't you like to live here? He doesn't live there. He was just having a cup of tea at somebody else's house. He came out and he saw this. He was like, this is so beautiful, it has to be captured, okay, on film.
Yeah.
The title of this video is Never a Dream Home. And what he goes on to say is basically like, and poor young people are deprived of owning this disgusting piece of shit house. And anyway, we'll watch the rest of it.
Dream of any young person or any young couple to own something like this, or even a lot less. But to get to there, a lot of things have to happen. And very often there's lower cost housing and housing estates and that stuff. But the problem is now the government has stepped in and they're buying up everything from migrants. And When a person looks to buy one of these at an auction, they could find themselves bidding against the government. Now, Matt Carthy from this very town, Carrickmacross for Sinn Féin, I saw him on the video yesterday saying how about Irish and foreign entrepreneurs buying up property to house migrants, and that's good enterprise. And he compares it to somebody with a boutique or a coffee shop or some other thing, or a garage. And he says it's the same thing, they're entitled to make money commercially. The point is, it's the Irish government that's handing them all this money. The point is, the Irish government has turned on its own people, and Matt Carthy on Sinn Féin has turned on his people. He has effectively saying to young people, you can never own a property like this. And I want to meet him in debate and discuss this and pass this around.
Please.
Most people now can never own a house like this. Then we go over to education. There's 4,600 teachers gone out of Ireland. This is corrupt villainy of the worst type and the greatest treachery ever committed. And that's why I am standing in this election. We'll see you back, folks. Thank you.
So that one, I just want to say that has 4,000 views on. Now, like YouTube has changed so much that like 4,000 views in a day is pretty significant, you know, for a small YouTube account. All 65 comments, all of them positive. At Derek Murray 1462 says, those houses were built by ordinary people who worked hard all their lives. Doesn't matter how hard you work today.
I mean, that's true, but I wouldn't blame the migrants for it.
We are being replaced. Yep, says somebody responding to Burmage Railway. Spot on, Val. Get out and vote, vote, vote. Houses all over the country being handed to people who should have no claim to the dole here. Let's alone a house, but they get both ahead of Irish families. New estate in my village has its first new occupant, and I can tell you there are no Irish there from what I can see. From what I can see. Sickening, yeah. People should be accountable for what they are doing. It's disgraceful. Bring back the stocks in town.
Go to another video. I want to see more. I want to see Val speaking.
Yeah, so and yeah, we will. And then, but the content of that as well, like that was the thing we said. Matt Carthy said this. No, he didn't. I don't know what the fuck he said, but he didn't say that. And then he goes, and I'd love to debate Mark Carthy. I was like, I would love you to debate Mark Carthy. Yeah. I would love to see a debate with anybody, with literally anybody, you know, who was somebody from the left, you know what I mean? Not like, I mean, Sinn Féin. We could watch now. This one I wanted to like. We're not going to watch the whole thing, but like, this is the 11-minute video where he just shows people around his home. We can see his like weird little toilet.
I like that picture. Classic printer. Here's like a frame picture. And it's a classic thing of like, he printed it off on an inkjet printer.
Actually,
see that?
He shows the picture later on, and he's a hobbyist watercolor. So he does, and I do watercolor, and here's an example of that.
He painted that.
He painted that. And then he shows another painting that he did. And then he goes, and this is a monochromatic. So that means it's the one color.
I know what that means, Val.
And then he goes through it, and then he starts brushing cobwebs off of it, and he said like, "Oh, that." But he did say that he printed that, so that one was printed. Potentially, that one could have been printed as well. But he made that painting, so you know.
It reminds me of something out of like Silent Hill. I don't know why. That's just. Where is he from? Carrickmacross.
I have no clue. I look at my handiwork as the description for this. The name of the video was Who is Val the Man? 14th of November 2024. He put the date in there himself. And then And then there's a bit where he talks about setting up 2 separate switches to turn on the hot water or to turn on an electric shower. And as far as I could tell, they're like right next to each other. So I have absolutely no idea why he needed to do this.
So in any event, there was no ensuite shower because, as I say, far from those things we were reared. And over in the bathroom, there's a bidet, and they were laughing at that as well. But someone told me it's the up and coming thing is a bidet. Anyway,
Shut up.
It's rarely ever used. So the job was to get a shower unit in.
That is something out of
and that's how
Silent
it
Hill.
works there. And it is cramped. It is cramped. And the toilet had to go in at an angle.
That's so much work. The toilet, the seat is ripped off it.
But it had to go in
It's
at
like
an
a
angle.
pub toilet.
And so this is the shaving mirror and the little sink. It's very small.
He gets into the
In any
toilets
event,
now.
that's
It's like
what
he
you have
actually
to
shows.
do.
So
You
from
have
this
to,
distance,
you have to,
you can already see the fucking grout.
improvise.
And then he goes, I did this
Yeah.
myself. Yeah, looks at there. Watch, here we go.
I believe
Tiled
it.
it here like
Jesus.
that. All done with the...
So here we go. This is the switch thing, okay?
And the electric shower has to have a two-way switch. And one of the first things happened to me when I went out to work for people, there was a man I always remember, and he wanted a two-way switch so that you could switch off the light in the garage from either side, and nobody seemed to know it. And I just drew it on a bit of paper, and I fitted the two-way switch for him. So then the two-way switch works from here.
See, it's right there.
So you have to throw it here because there's another shower in the house. There's another shower.
You see?
And you have to have a two-way switch.
Yeah,
So-
I do. They're right next to each other.
Why does he do that? Why does he need the
I
two-way
don't know.
switch?
And then you can pull this.
It's like one is hanging from the door, just by the door, and one's in the cupboard,
And that's
right next to
necessary.
it reminds me of, I was staying in a house once, and they had an electric shower.
Mm.
But you know the, people can't see, but the one, it's hanging from the ceiling, and you click it.
Yeah.
It had two of those, but they were in sequence.
Yeah.
So, like, to get the shower working, you had to pull them in the right order.
Oh, fucking hell.
And I swear to God, and so you had to pull them both in the right order and then switch on the shower. And if you did in the wrong order, it would blow the switch.
I hate it. I hate it.
What's he reading there?
This is it. So he shows us
The
his
art.
books. No, we're gonna see them. So this is 704, just for me editing in the future. He goes, I show you the books they be reading.
Kind of a magazine, engines list. This is all stationary engines.
Okay, that's fine.
All the reading about doing.
He's
up
reading his stationary
you see.
engines.
And then I buy the model engineer and the art of welding. And not only do I love doing things in metalwork and woodwork, but I love reading about it and how other people overcome things. This goes back about 1982 to my time in the Guards. I was stationed in Scottstown. And there's the stamp of the station there.
Wait, the calligraphy on the front he's done is crazy.
Scottstown Station, Guard of Síochána. And this was the Guard Information Annual. This gave you the details of everybody. Now, I won't have time to go into it now.
Why go into it
Maybe
at
I
all?
would.
Like, it's a reference book.
And there's
I
the
can't.
Cavan-Monaghan Guard.
It's a reference book from the 80s.
From the 70s.
There's just a
1977.
list. From the 70s. There's just a list of, like, local stations, and then, like, their wages or something.
Not the wages. It's like
What's
the
it?
connection or something. I don't know what the fuck it is. But he goes,
There's
I won't have
some-
time to get into this. And he's like, actually, I will. And then he gets into it. And then I have no idea why. But he just says, well, these are the places, like the extensions, I guess. These are the places that I rang. But I don't know what the quarter, like, what's that? 17 and a quarter for Ballytor. What's
That's
that
why
mean?
I was thinking it was like a way. Could it be like the like jurisdiction that they cover?
Yeah,
Go
maybe
back.
that's it.
Go back in the video. Just
Okay.
and pause it when he opens it.
Scottstown Station,
open it.
Guard of Síochána. And this was the Guard Information Annual. This gave you the details of everybody. Now, I won't have time to go into it now.
He's
Or
so
maybe I
bad at
would.
framing. There, pause it. Go back.
Shit.
Go back.
Yeah.
Headquarters. Miles.
What the fuck
So-
are you talking
It
about?
says Selbridge, 11.5 miles, but I don't know what that references.
Guard Information Annual. This gave you the details of everybody. Now, I won't have time to go into it
Crazy.
now. Or maybe I would.
Is there any more? Like, I can't remember.
And there's the
Well, he starts talking about a
Cavan-Monaghan
guard he used to work with,
There was
which
a
is funny.
station
Here we
in
go.
Crinchica. See, am I getting it there now? God, I hope I'm getting it right.
This is
There was
so
a station
dizzy.
in Crinchico and Shantala. There was a station in Shantala. Now, one of the stations in it is Ballybay.
Sorry, he's
The
holding it
sergeant
down.
At that time,
He's holding it
1977,
open with
was
an
Eamon
old
Donovan.
comb.
Now, the
With an
thing
old
about it
ratty
is the
hairbrush.
sergeant Ballybay was always
It's
Liam
so
Maguire, the
horrible.
famous Cavan footballer. He was from Ballinyahar, Bingfield, Crostony. But he was out of the station that time. Ned Garvey put him out. He thought he was too familiar with the place, and he transferred him up to about Dunleer in County Louth. And Eamon had, what do you call him?
Wait, look how long it takes him to remember this name.
Liam Maguire had to put. He had to go to Dunleer, and when he went to Dunleer, he bought the field. There was a field up for sale across from the station, and he bought it. And then the Fianna Fáil got back in. Fine Gael were in that time, and as soon as Fianna Fáil got back in, he was friendly with John Wilson, and he got back to Ballybay, and he'd be farming. He'd have cattle everywhere, and he sold the field, and he trebled his money on the field. So he made money out of it. Anyway, Garvey was later sacked, so that's another story. So that's a 1977 manual, and it gives everything. So that just shows you an old thing.
It's a great book where he
never
pulls
was
up a law book.
fully fledged career guard. I just did whatever job I did very well. Here's another book, Using the Small Lathe. Foundry work for the amateur. And here's one on law, The Criminal Law of Ireland by P. Sheehan. You probably won't get that. That's an excellent book on the law of Ireland. The problem with the last stuff of these books, when you go to plead them in court, a lot of the judges never heard of this. They haven't a clue.
Really old.
Model glow plug engines. That's the kind of thing I get into. And this is a shaping machine. I bought a wee hand shaper recently. It took me years to get one. I bought one before, and the crowd went burst. I didn't get it collected. I lost me money on it. So that's the sort of stuff that you will get me at, and stuff I'm reading.
Stuff he's reading.
Yeah, I never was a fully fledged. I was always a wee bit different to the usual guards. But would you believe it that in solving crime,
Did you see that
was
big
a terrific thing, because
plastic bottle beside the bed?
Yes.
He pisses in that. Like, that is 100% what that is for.
That is fucking insane. I'm just seeing it now.
That's when he doesn't want to get out of bed in the middle of the night.
That's insane.
There's nothing else that can be used for.
He's talking about solving crime now, which is very funny. I think they say at one point there was some thing where I read where he was announcing his candidacy, and they were talking about all of the stations that he served at. So he says, "Well, I wasn't really a guard. I just did what they told me to do." I was a guard for 20 years. It was insane. They were "Oh yeah, it was 1977 until the early 2000s," as far as I read. So he was a guard for a significant amount of time. They listed off all the places he was stationed at. He's stationed all over the country.
Yeah.
And they used that to be and in that space of time, he saw all the migrants committing crimes, is basically what they're trying to say. And so now he's and I solved crime. And the way he talks about it is just so... just the idea of Val's on the case.
The way that the criminal mind works and all of that. And I used to be hunting, and we do an odd bit of poaching. And you kind of had that sort of poachers, old rogue's a good tracker. So, like my father, he always said, as long as we have the eyes, as long as we have the sight, we'll always be able to spend the time. I mean, the idea of me being bored just doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. I just can't be bored. How could you be bored? Just so much things to be doing. Now, folks, we let you back. I have to put some of the books back on the shelf. Good luck, and thanks you. Remember, this is an idea to give you an idea who you're voting for. If you vote for me in the election, this is the kind of
some of the books back on the shelf. The idea of him here are the books that I read. Here are the things that I be doing, and then it's welding. They're all instruction manuals, basically.
I know. It's also funny that he's how could you be bored? I have so many things to do. And then clearly what he's talking about is now for the afternoon, I'll put the books back on the shelf. That'll kill the rest of the night.
You kill yourself. It's insane. It's insane. This guy is so scary. He is such a a Peter McGann, Liam Nugent. He is just I'm floored.
Yeah.
I can't get it. I can play the belch or the burp. It's not a belch. It's a little burp, and or
I'm just looking at the other.
Yeah. There was a
A
point.
good short one.
There's no such thing. All of them are fucking massive for some reason. Working people should rule their countries, but they don't. 6th of November 2024. I wish that was a
Please do. Farming protests and natural law.
or
The one with the mouth open.
this is the one I'm pretty sure where he's accused of. Oh my god! Already, I'm like, will I play the burp first just to get that out of the way?
Yeah.
All right, where is it? It's the one with where he's. Yes, that was the one I was telling you about. Where Meath East. He's like, vote for Jean Murray. Is this the one with the fly? Do you see a fly pass in front?
His
And I'd ask
skin
people
is
to
so
transfer to him as my
crazy.
number 2.
Like,
In other
it
words,
says
give Val
such a,
Martin
like,
number 1,
rubberized
give Mark
quality.
Moore
I know.
number 2, if that's the way you're
The
thinking.
laptop with
But
pink.
up in the same constituency
Is
in
this
Meath
it?
East is this lady.
I don't know whether it's a.
Jean.
I love
Jean
he's wearing
Murray.
the suit and tie. Or
Looked up
the
her profile.
fleece
I
and
never met
tie.
her. But anyway, she's a hairdresser and things like that. She looks a lovely lady, I have to say. She's a lovely
shut
lady.
up.
I really like her. She looks lovely.
Really like her.
But
She
I'm
looks
anyway,
horny
folks,
for her.
in Meath East, do not vote for that Helen McEntee. That is a treacherous thing to do in your country. She is some bundle of goods. Now, vote for Jean Murray.
To look
We have
back
no
and check her
national-
name
we have
again.
No Irish Freedom Party. If there's an Irish Freedom Party,
Oh, here it is.
comes
This is the
into
one.
it,
Yeah, yeah.
then vote for the
I
Irish
saw the
Freedom
fly in the
Party
background.
and give your number 2 to Jean Murray. But if there's no Irish
Here it
Freedom
goes.
Party, Jean Murray, there's your candidate there. And wouldn't it be lovely if I was up marching in the Dáil and Jean was there? And there'll be kind words exchanged, and we will work with her every step of the way. There's nobody objects to that within the Irish Freedom Party. Okay, Jean Murray, she's from Rathoth, but the constituency, you could see, comes right down to Renobber. Would you believe that? Comes right down to Renobber. So anyway, folks, I'll see you back. My battery's getting low. If there's no Irish Freedom Party candidate, you vote for the National Party
This is
candidate.
horrible.
And
And the
this great girl
fly.
again, for that lovely person. I don't know why she didn't join our party, but it'll not matter. We'll work it out somewhere. Thank you very much. Bye.
That was a horrible burp. Like, it was so disgusting.
So. I'm so wrong.
Like, he looked like... It was like he was going to get sick or something.
And he's like mid-sentence, and he's pitching like another candidate
Yeah.
for obviously for a party he's not even in. Okay,
Yeah.
and then it's like, would you not just take it again? Would you not cut it off?
I know.
Fucking. All right, the farming.
And the fly.
The-
Like, that was like something in Silent Hill.
The fly kind of like, because what happened is, I was watching the video and I saw the fly in the background and I was like, what time of year is it to be having a fly that big in your house? You know what I mean? Like, it's too cold to have a fly like that in your house. And
I know. It looks like he like hatches himself.
Oh gosh.
Like, is it like the way people hatch chickens? He's hatching flies in the toilet or something.
He's fucking gross, man. Farming protest and natural law. I believe this is where he's. I don't know whether. We'll find out now.
Oh, sorry. I just saw the other one.
Which one?
Trolls and adverse comments on this channel.
Right, we better look. On 4th of November, my birthday. We should look at that. But by the way, look at that. That's where he puts up his bank details there on the right. Do you see that?
Yes.
A handwritten piece of paper just with his IBAN.
Yeah. IE80BOFI 9034
612147757. If you want to throw some money to Val, don't have his Swift code, but oh my gosh, shite. Is there any more of that? Again, can't get.
No.
Oh, it must be Aaron.
It's
That must be
something
real truth, Aaron.
True air. Yeah, that makes sense.
Trolls and adverse comments on this channel. Where is
He's wearing black for that one as well. The hat. Like, he's in mourning for his... He's so strange looking.
RFK Jr., a boy of Wexford, informational video. Fuck, we're in trouble. Because he could just... it's just going to be too much of Val. I don't know how it can.
It is. Like, I'm so on board with Val as a phenomenon. And like, just to set the scene for people, he's wearing black. He's out in front of like, like the material that they make election posters out of.
Yeah.
And it's hung halfway up the wall as is real true, and then the rest of it's blocked. And then there's like ragged paper hanging off a beam. Like,
Yeah.
do you see? There's like the.
I do.
It's either like a doorpost
Canvas
or like
yeah.
something. It's just hanging.
And then
Like,
the thing about the real true Aaron as well that's important to know is that the capital letters on it are for RTE, but but and they're the font or the typeface of RTE, but for some reason the E doesn't have a father over it. But we cannot confirm what the fuck is written there, because like I said, every single time he's constantly sitting in front of it and blocking it. No idea.
And the wall is like snooker table green. Like, it's just such a weird like thing. Anyway,
and the lighting is atrocious as well.
it's like a hostage video. Like
all right, here we go. 5 minutes with this. What?
Yeah, go on.
I'll press play, will I?
Yeah.
All right, pressing play now.
Good morning, the 4th of November,
birthday.
2024.
Trolls. He's got a
My
written
marker
behind
is
him.
running a bit
I
low,
didn't even
folks,
see that. The
but
lighting's so
it's
bad.
trolls. It's about people there posting on my YouTube channel. Now, some people, only a few. There was a Coughlin's Tom. He quit, and there's somebody else there, and they're all using fake names. But if you see somebody posting a negative thing, don't be afraid to ask them to explain what they mean. One guy there, Owen McDermott, he calls himself. I think he says he's abroad. The old sod, he seems to be abroad. And when you're abroad, people have a fierce interest in Ireland. You wouldn't believe it. In America and abroad, everywhere, they keep talking about Ireland. They are concerned in many ways, but he says more Gombinism. But is he alleging that's me? Why doesn't he say, Val, you're totally wrong? But I think that's what he means. So again, you'll get nothing else. If you ask what is wrong with what I say, they won't do it. And that's because they are indoctrinated by RTE, by the media, by the left-wing parties. Don't forget, almost every party in the Dáil at the moment is left-wing. And so they can't get it through their head that they could be wrong. And this is what I faced when I started campaigning 15 years ago against the wind energy and the solar and all that. People just couldn't believe that
Why
the
would you be
government
against
would do it wrong.
solar?
Yet the law that requires an engineering assessment is and was and still is being broken. And that was simple. So they couldn't see my point. Now Germany is wondering what is happening in its economy. And they have all this stuff about, what Volkswagen did, the electric cars, that's what destroyed it, the Chinese competed with them, and electric cars. There's only a small proportion of cars electric, and in my opinion, there always only will be. There's not many people buying them now, but there will be a few, and I have no problem with a few of them going around. This suits some people. But that's all right. But the point about it is, they say what they listen to, the unions. They should have listened to the unions.
What are you talking
Did they pay the workers enough in Germany?
What do those two things have to do with each other?
Did they innovate the same as the Chinese, who were making good cars? And all of this stuff. So,
Wait,
I
pause it
had asked
there.
the question.
Pausing.
I don't think China makes cars.
No, they do. They make electric cars, but the thing is that they're making really good electric cars, apparently. But
People aren't buying them here.
No, they can't, because I think that there's like trade embargoes with China or something like that.
Yeah,
and that's a talking point that's basically I've heard on, like, Aaron Bastani from Navarra Media is always going on about how we need to have a better relations with China because China's going to basically lay out the next century. The people like him talk about China as in, like, they're doing amazing things with high-speed rail and electric cars, and we need to be doing something with the Chinese, the West, as it were, you know. But the Americans are very determined to not do anything, to not basically cede that ground to the Chinese. But either way, what ends up happening is like whatever social media soup he gets, all of these things just kind of come out in this weird way. So like the thing is, he just hates renewable energy because he's a farmer, but a particular type of farmer, you know, like just somebody who hears like Eamon Ryan and the Greens are controlling with their lefty insane things about carbon tax. And then there's Chinese cars and maybe like some people like that, but like, you know, be driving them around. And they're saying that the unions, and you're like, what the fuck are you talking about? Where does it finish that thought, you fucking idiot?
Yeah. Yeah, he has no ability to finish one thought because to go on to the next, like, is just a mess. I'm gonna go mash the toilet now. I'll be back in a second.
Jesus. Okay.
That's the end of the free bit. Why not go over to patreon.com/CelticLigers to hear the rest of the episode, which is basically just more Val and general talk about confused politics in Ireland, but most importantly our Patreon exclusive breakdown of the 10-way leaders debate on RT's Upfront with Katie Hannon. It was silly.